Imagine shifting from, just reacting to market changes to having this continuous automated watch on your competitors. Stuff that used to take days, maybe weeks, now popping up in minutes. Does that sound like a bit of a game changer for how you think about strategy? Well, buckle up, because today we're looking at a tool that makes us feel, well, actually, possible. Practical, even. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our source for this conversation is the 13th issue of the biweekly Substack newsletter, Thinking in Public. It's created by Alprin. And this specific issue, it really pulls back the curtain on a pretty groundbreaking way to get competitor insights using a new AI capability.
That's right. And our mission today is really to break down what this thing actually is, how it works in a, real situation. Plus, the practical steps you can take to try it out yourself. And maybe most importantly, why it feels like it could really redefine how fast you can get your head around a market or what competitors are up to. It's about being informed consistently, not just quickly.
Okay, let's get into it then. The tool is called Agent Mode. It was a pretty big announcement from OpenAI not too long ago, and it's out now for folks on their paid plans. But before we jump into the how-to, what is Agent Mode? Fundamentally, I mean. How is it really different from just, say, using standard ChatGPT?
Right. Well, the key thing here, I think, is that Agent Mode isn't just a smarter chatbot. The real difference is its ability to act autonomously. Standard ChatGPT is great at conversation, generating text, that kind of thing. Agent Mode, though, it's built to actually carry out a sequence of actions on its own. It can, open web browsers, fill in forms online, use the command line, basically complete whole tasks from beginning to end. Think of it more like a digital teammate that can actually, go out and do things for you.
A digital teammate that executes tasks on its own. Okay, that definitely sounds like a leap. The newsletter dives into a specific real-world test for this. What was that scenario? Why pick that one to show off what Agent Mode can do?
Yeah, they put it through its paces with something really specific and pretty valuable, analyzing customer funnels. The task was to look at the funnel for a product called Lovable and then compare it against 3 of its direct competitors. The goal was basically to map out that whole journey a customer takes, right from hitting the landing page through to maybe upgrading later on. And doing that kind of deep dive manually, it's usually super time consuming. So a perfect test for an autonomous agent, really.
And when you say comprehensive, how deep did the agent actually go? Was it just scratching the surface or getting into the real user experience details?
Well, it is incredibly detailed, much more than just a quick look. The process started with really looking closely at each landing page, the messaging, the calls to action, all that. Then it went through the entire sign-up flow, including verifying emails. After that, it documented the whole onboarding experience, step by step, noting where things felt smooth or where there might be friction. And finally, it pulled together information on their pricing models and how they try to upsell users. So, yeah, a really thorough end-to-end analysis.
Okay, and this is where the efficiency part really hits home, right? After doing all that detailed work across 4 different platforms, what did the output look like? And crucially, how long did it take? Because like you said, normally this takes ages.
Yeah.
Clicking, copying, pasting.
The efficiency was genuinely striking. At the end of it all, Agent Mode generated a clean, professional-looking PDF report, ready to go. And the whole thing, analyzing all 4 funnels, took only about 16 to 17 minutes, start to finish. Which isn't just saving time once, right? It fundamentally changes how quickly you could react. Market insights could go from a quarterly thing to, I don't know, maybe weekly checks. Much more agile.
16 minutes. Wow. Okay, that's fast. So for you listening right now, how can you actually use this for your own stuff? What are the steps involved?
Okay, first things first, you need to make sure Agent Mode is actually turned on in your ChatGPT settings. If you're on a paid plan, it should be visible. Second, you got to confirm that web search is enabled because these tasks rely heavily on, browsing the web and interacting with sites.
Got it. Paid plan, web search on. What about telling the AI what to do? Is there a specific prompt or instruction set?
Yeah, the newsletter actually provides a really detailed prompt that you adapt. And this prompt is key because it sets the agent's role and exactly what it needs to do. You basically just plug in your own product link and the links for the competitors you want to analyze. Once that's ready, you just kick it off. And then the agent works away in the background autonomously, letting you get on with other things.
Okay. And what if it hits a snag? Like if it gets stuck somewhere in the process, does it just give up or can you help it along?
No, it's actually designed to be pretty resilient. If you notice it seems stuck, you can just give it a short guiding follow-up prompt. It's smart enough to figure that out and just pick up right where it left off without needing a whole restart, which is pretty neat for these longer tasks.
That's good to know. Now, what about the tricky parts, like signing up for services, things that might need personal info, or, heaven forbid, payment details? That feels like a big trust issue.
Absolutely, and that's a really important point on safety and privacy. AgentNote is specifically built to pause and actually ask for your input when it hits things like CAPTCHAs, or especially anything involving sensitive information like payments. The newsletter strongly advises, and I definitely echo this, never ever enter your real payment details. In fact, the prompt they provide is already set up to use disposable email services, things like temp-mail.io or tempmail.so. So if it needs an email to sign up, it'll grab a temporary one itself. No more junk in your main inbox.
Ah, okay, that's smart. A built-in safeguard using temporary emails.
Yeah.
So once it's done its analysis, what do you actually get back?
When it's finished, you can just download the report it generated as a PDF. It's designed to be clean, text only, and free from what the source calls scraping residue or artifacts. Basically, it cleans up all the technical behind-the-scenes stuff like IDs or code snippets and just gives you the polished insights, ready to share.
So let's connect this back to the listener. Why should you care that this tool can do this deep dive in minutes? What's the real value here?
Well, because it gives you incredibly valuable, actionable insights at a speed that was, frankly, unimaginable before. You get instant clarity on, say, your competitors' landing page messages, their CTAs, how they're using social proof. You can see where users might be hitting friction during sign-up or pinpoint that crucial aha moment in their onboarding, the point where the value really clicks for a user. Plus, you get a clear view of their pricing and upgrade paths. And it's all laid out in one structured, comparable report. It just makes strategic analysis so much faster. You can spot opportunities or threats almost immediately.
That core funnel analysis example is clearly super powerful. But the newsletter hinted that agent mode isn't just about funnels, right? If we zoom out a bit, what other kinds of tasks can this thing handle?
Yeah, exactly. Its potential goes way beyond just funnels, really leaning into that digital teammate idea. For example, it can do broad competitor website analysis, like reviewing their overall site structure, grabbing screenshots of important pages, landing pages, pricing, key features, and then compiling all that into comparison reports.
And why is that kind of comparison useful?
Well, it helps you quickly grasp their messaging, their design choices, how they position themselves, allows for a direct comparison with your own approach. But beyond websites, it can also mine public customer reviews. So scanning sites like Google Reviews, Trustpilot, Capterra, analyzing sentiment, identifying common complaints or praises, gives you a real-time sense of what people are saying.
That sounds like it can save hours, days even, of manual market research. What about helping out with content strategy?
Definitely. For content strategy, it can audit a competitor's blog, look at how often they publish, what topics they cover, even try to figure out which posts are most popular.
And how would that knowledge help your content plan?
By spotting gaps, right? Or seeing what's really resonating with their audience. You can then tailor your own content to fill those gaps or maybe tackle popular topics better. It's also mentioned being useful for supplier and price research, comparing product prices across different sites, gathering supplier details, doing cost analysis.
Right, so useful for procurement teams, or even just if you're trying to find the best deal on something personally. Any other areas, maybe HR or company growth insights?
Yes, for HR or competitive intelligence, it can do job listing analysis. It monitors career pages to track salary ranges competitors are offering, what kind of roles they're hiring for, which can give clues about their growth or strategic direction.
That's clever. A subtle way to keep tabs on hiring trends. Can it get technical too, like with SEO?
Uh-huh. It can assist with SEO and technical site audits too, measuring things like page speed, checking meta tags, looking at heading structures, basically, the key on-page SEO stuff, and generating performance comparisons.
That's vital for anyone competing online. So, okay, it's clearly versatile. Now, going back to the newsletter's experience when they actually used it, what were the key takeaways? Did it just work perfectly out of the box?
Well, the experience described really seemed to validate its potential, but also its real-world behavior. It reportedly completed all the steps correctly on its own, which is the main thing, even if it sometimes took, as they put it, odd attempts or maybe a slightly weird path to get there, but ultimately it found the way. Shows a certain level of persistence, I guess.
And that ability to run in the background, how big a deal was that in practice?
That was flagged as hugely valuable. You really can just let it run and turn your attention elsewhere, which frees you up considerably. Also, that point about the follow-up prompts, they found that really did work effectively. Short instructions didn't derail it, it just incorporated the guidance and carried on smoothly. That's pretty important for complex tasks.
And the safety net we talked about, pausing for sensitive steps. Did that hold up reliably in their testing?
Yes, the source confirmed that while it wasn't always needed in every single run, in other tests it did reliably pause at those critical points. Like payment forms or capped benches, it hands control back to the user. So that safety aspect seems to work as intended, giving you that crucial oversight.
Okay, this is all really impressive on its own. But there was one more feature mentioned that seems to take it from just a cool tool to something, well, potentially transformative. The schedule feature. How does that work?
Ah, yes, this is where it gets really interesting for continuous monitoring. After an agent run finishes successfully, you apparently see a little clock icon when you hover over the result. You click that, reconfirm your prompt, and then you can set a schedule like daily, weekly, monthly. Once you save that, the agent will automatically rerun that exact same task at the frequency you set. It delivers fresh reports without you needing to even open ChatGPT or do anything manually.
Hang on, so just to be crystal clear, if I set up that funnel analysis we discussed earlier, I could tell it to automatically recheck my site and my competitors every single month, and it would just deliver an updated report without me doing anything else.
That's precisely the idea. Schedule that funnel analysis prompt monthly, and boom, every month, a fresh comparative report lands, fully automated. It completely changes competitive intelligence from this reactive, often manual chore into a proactive, ongoing stream of insights. Zero effort after the initial setup. It's pretty wild.
That really is automation on another level for market intel. But as you said earlier, none of this happens without a good prompt. The newsletter provided a detailed one. What makes it so effective?
The prompt structure itself is very thorough. It kicks off by giving the agent a clear role and task, like being an experienced funnel analyst, sets the stage. Then it provides context, like details about your own startup, and clearly lists the products to analyze, yours and the competitors. And finally, it lays out the main tasks, very explicitly: landing page review, sign-up flow, onboarding, monetization, the works. It's basically a mini job spec for the AI.
Right, and I remember you mentioning strict rules and methods built right into that prompt. Why are those specific instructions so important?
Those rules are critical for making sure the output is reliable, professional, and importantly, safe. They explicitly tell the agent, use temporary emails, never attempt payments. That's crucial. There's also a strict rule about the final report. Clean, text-only PDF, no scraping residue. That means no leftover code or weird artifacts, just the insights. Ensures it looks professional. The prompt also tells it to be autonomous, honest, and patient with slow pages. All contributes to a better, safer outcome.
And the final report it generates, is it just a data dump or is it actually organized well?
No, it's highly structured, which makes it useful right away. The prompt actually defines the expected structure. So you get sections for each individual product analyzed, then a dedicated comparative analysis section highlighting similarities and differences. And finally, a key takeaways section specifically focused on what your startup can learn and apply. It ensures the output is consistent and actionable every time.
Wow, okay. So wrapping this up, what we've seen here, highlighted in that Thinking in Public newsletter, is how OpenAI's agent mode can really empower you to do this rapid, deep, competitive analysis, turning days of work into minutes. Its ability to act like a genuine digital teammate browsing, interacting, combined with that scheduling feature, it really seems like a seriously versatile tool for business intelligence, covering so many different areas.
It really does highlight just how fast AI is moving, doesn't it? And what that means for how we find and use information. We're clearly shifting beyond just fetching data to having automated, intelligent analysis that can continuously monitor things for us. So the question, and maybe to leave you, the listener, with, is this: how might a tool like this fundamentally change what you even prioritize when trying to understand a new market or a competitor? And what new strategic doors might that open up for you?